welcomes tonight's referees, players, and Emory Staley as they enter the grounds at South Carolina United Soccer Center.
Since you got all your training on the scoreboard. Since you got all the training on the scoreboard, you can help me run it. I don't have to train. It's set now, dude. I got 40. Now it's going to count up. How did you do it? Make you count up? Count up easy. Lock up, down, and ask them to cue for a 1 or 2. So it'll go over 45. You just
Welcome to the South Carolina United Soccer Center and the second home game of the South Carolina United Bantams 2018 season. Tonight's PDL match pits the visiting Tormenta FC with a record of 2-0-1 against your South Carolina United Bantams with a record of 2-1-0, presented by Blue Cross Blue Shield of South Carolina. Now for the starting lineups, beginning with the visiting Tormenta FC. Number 28, in goal, Pablo Yara. Number 17, a defender, Michael Meekum. Number 9, a defender, Jerry St. Ville. Number 20, a defender, Nick Wells. Number 18, a defender, Callum Chapman Page. Number 10, a midfielder, Neil Vinyals. Number 4, a midfielder, Yaya Cisse. Number 27, a midfielder, Tony Solar. Number 21, a midfielder, Jad Arslan. Number 23, a midfielder, Marco Micoletta. And number 7, a forward, Jordan Walshaw. Tormenta is led by head coach John Milgareese. And now, make some noise for your SC United Bantams, presented by Blue Cross Blue Shield of South Carolina. In goal, number 1, Bobby Edwards. A defender, number 3, Swan Vincent. A defender, number 6, Kyle Ferguson. A defender, number 15, Mitchell Myers. A defender, number 23, Daniel Bent. A midfielder, number 8, Sayar Faryeh. A midfielder, number 9, Harrison Roberts. A midfielder, number 10, J.B. Menyel. A midfielder, number 24, Cooper Nugent. At forward, number 11, Grayson Barber. And at forward, number 19, Merrick Weber. The Bantams are led by head coach Lee Morris and assistant coaches Adrian Pinasco and Matt Lugo. Your match officials for tonight's game are Island Pexanar, Wilmer Soriano, Mark Irick, and Zach Perry. On behalf of all the staff, players, the coaches, and volunteers that make up South Carolina United, we welcome you and we thank you for being with us tonight. Now, please stand for the singing of our national anthem.
Who's singing it?
He's playing it.
Okay.
He can play it here.
From the SC United Soccer Center in Columbia, South Carolina, this is PDL Soccer on LSP, presented by Little Caesars, home of the hot and ready pizza. Tonight, it's the second meeting of the season between the SC United Bantams with a record of 2-1-0 and South Georgia Tormenta with a record of 2-0-1. Good evening, everybody. I'm Sam Feely alongside Pearson Fowler, ready to bring you the play-by-play story. Well, it's a rematch of what is thus far the Bantams' only loss thus far. Pearson, it was a tough 1-0 loss that saw Marco Micheletto score the lone goal midway through the second half. It also saw Lee Morris get tossed and eventually suspended for the match against Tri-Cities, which they did win soundly on Saturday, but it's not going to be nearly as lopsided tonight, we expect.
No, certainly expecting a much more competitive match. As you mentioned, just a goal separating the two teams despite the Bantams head coach getting ejected. The difference in that game, as you mentioned, the Marco Micheletto goal. The Bantams going with a little bit of a lineup change, not only from their last game against Tormenta, but also from their 4-1 win against Tri-Cities. I was talking to assistant head coach Adrian Panasco before the game, said that the substitutions, they were opting for size, putting Bobby Edwards in the goal, also electing to go with Kyle Ferguson in the back just to give them a little more size. Tormenta is going to attack a little more directly, so the Bantams need to be sure that they're not letting anything over their heads or behind them, I think, which is part of the decision, part of the reason behind making that decision to switch despite the resounding victory on Saturday.
Tormenta going with a single forward in this 4-5-1 formation that you saw earlier. Jordan Walshaw, the lone up back. And SC United going with their traditional 4-4-2 with a couple of changes, most notably from the other night, Kyle Ferguson on the back four instead of Justin Little.
Yep, as I mentioned earlier, a more direct style of attack, and number 27, Tony Solar, and number 23, Marco Micheletto, who netted the winning goal in the last game, are going to be the two players to keep your eye on for Tormenta, and that's who the Bantams going to have to be focusing on in terms of shutting them down, controlling the pace in the midfield. And the other difference for the Bantams this year, when they've been able to get on the board early, they've won convincingly against Peachtree and against Tri-Cities, scored 4 goals in both of those games, and also scored early in both of those games. Their one game against Tormenta, obviously not able to net. So for the Bantams, the key is going to be pace and activity early.
Bantams in the home royal blues and Tormenta in the navy blue with magenta sleeves and the white numerals.
Bantams electing to go again with that diamond 4 in the midfield that worked well enough to get the 4-1 win against Tri-Cities. Will leave them a little bit exposed on the flanks. It'll be interesting to see how Tormenta attacks that early and what the Bantams can do to adjust if they do exploit that.
As we wait for the whistle from the official to get this match underway.
Fortunate enough to have a slightly cooler night on our hands than we did on Saturday. At least the sun taking cover.
The sun, behind the clouds. I know that made the beginning of the broadcast difficult for you viewers on Saturday night, but we thank you very much, all 600 of you tuned in Saturday night for the premiere edition of PDL Soccer on LSP. And here we go. We are underway for game number 2. And we have a late challenge right at the beginning of the match.
Yeah, early foul. Looks like he may have made a lot of that challenge, but good to see the Bantams attacking early with pace, going right at the Tormenta back four. As I mentioned, getting out to a quick start is going to be vital for the Bantams.
This is going to be off the Bantams. I don't think that was off of Jad Arslan of Tormenta. Oh, they did give the ball to the Bantams. Interesting. All the way to the back four of Tormenta. Don't see many teams with magenta in their kit these days.
Yeah, it reminds me of Blackberry Cobbler, which is making me hungry.
Well, I'm from New England. I could get you some cranberry cobbler if you really want. Here's a chance maybe for Tormenta, but the offside flag is up.
Cheap giveaway for the Bantams there. Fortunate that Tormenta wasn't able to hold its run and stay on side. A threatening piece of play after after a bad giveaway by the Bantams.
We saw the Bantams score a goal in that fashion, their fourth goal of the match on a bad giveaway by Tri-Cities.
Yeah, very opportunistic in that game. I don't think we're going to expect as many freebies for the Bantams, a Tormenta team that's much tighter and hasn't been on the road as much as Tri-Cities was.
Now, these teams third and fourth in the Deep South Division, but they both have a couple games in hand on the top two teams, including Peachtree, who have already played 5 matches, and this is just the 4th match for each of these sides. As the goalie, Bobby Edwards, will boot it deep and promptly... did that go over the sideline? Yes, it did. Just underway here in Columbia. Beautiful new SC United Soccer Center. The Monty, as it's called, as we're off of Monticello Road.
Good work to get out of the back there.
But the lead pass is intercepted. Deflected out of bounds by Weber. No, excuse me, that would be Maniel. Is that Maniel or Weber? That's Maniel, not bad.
Bantams really created a lot of chances with those long balls, especially the long diagonal balls against Tri-Cities. May have a little more trouble breaking down Tormenta that way. I expect him to try and play a little more possession, knock it around in the midfield more to generate the attack.
Jad Arslan had his back turned to that pass, and it'll go out of bounds for a Bantams throw. Kind of a slow start here for both teams and not really finding any fluidity. Just had that one sloppy turnover that resulted in the offside on the chance for Tormenta a couple minutes ago. Throw here by Myers. Little wrestling match as Barber tries to get free. He had a goal in his home debut in his hometown. Now maybe a chance here for Weber. Weber tries to get the corner, and it's tapped over the end line for a corner kick. Good bailout there by Jerry St. Ville of Tormenta. And now the first corner of the match goes to the Bantams here in now the 5th minute.
Yeah, it's well done there from Barber to get that ball down, maintain control of it. Weber does a good job to beat the first man. Obviously, as you mentioned, scored a brace last game against Tri-Cities.
The swing by Maniel, and it's knocked down, not all the way out of the box yet, and comes back to Maniel on the near side. Lob towards the box, and the offside flag is up. That was a tough angle from Maniel to get that towards the net, but it was offside.
Yeah, would love to see a replay of that. That looked very, very close, to be kind. It didn't look like initially a great ball from Maniel. Looked like it was headed straight for, a good ball in. Looked like it was headed straight for the keeper at the near post, but a good late run in. And, if he was offsides, it was just barely.
Well, we don't have VAR at this level, unfortunately. This is hit over the sideline.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. The South Carolina United Bantams and the USL remind you that tossing any objects on the field of play is strictly prohibited. If a game ball enters your seating area, please return it to the nearest ball retriever. Any spectator entering the field or interrupting play in any manner shall be ejected. The South Carolina United Bantams and the USL thank you for your attendance and your cooperation.
Bantams were going to wear blue on Saturday night, but they got the word late that Tri-Cities was bringing their blue kit to here to Columbia, and they had to do a late change to the white jerseys. This is Jad Arslan. Goes back to Solar. And now Meekum. Spelled like Meacham, but pronounced with a hard CH. Meekum. Michael Meekum, number 17 for Tormenta. Tormenta based out of Statesboro, Georgia. They play their home games at Georgia Southern University. And their streaming channel is actually on the Georgia Southern website. Statesboro, about an hour west of Savannah, northwest of Savannah. If you're going to fly to Statesboro, Savannah is the nearest major airport. Through ball here to Vinyals. Vinyals lobs it, and it goes right into the arms of Edwards.
Yeah, a bit of an unlucky bounce, but that's always a comfortable save for Bobby Edwards. Bantams not seeing much of the ball early, doing a pretty good job pressuring on the ball, maintaining their shape, but losing the ball pretty quickly once they regain possession.
So a couple chances each side early on. Nobody's cracked the scoreboard here in the 7th minute.
Yes, it's easier to hear.
Not as large a crowd here as there was Saturday night, but you expect larger crowds on the weekends. Here's a cross into the box, headed off the side of the cage. And that was a little too strong, and that wasn't going to get on net.
Yeah, it's got to go down as a
St.
missed opportunity. Yaya Cisse had an opportunity to head back across the box there, had men waiting for him around the PK spot, tried to go for goal, beat the keeper at the near post, and that was always going wide.
Bent.
Bantams continue to be loose, just trying to build up from the back, nothing doing so far first 8 minutes of this game.
Throw-in comes to Bent, but it hits off his foot. And a throw-in along the box for Tormenta, and this is how the Bantams scored 2 of their goals in the first half of Saturday's match against Tri-Cities.
Those Mitchell Myers long throw-ins that just absolutely wreaked havoc. Not sure if we're going to see that exactly here.
No,
I guess we're not.
We're just going to go with the short throw. No offside. Now the offside flag is up. A little late there if you're the Bantams, but they do get the free kick anyway.
Yeah, not everyone has quite the arm to get those long Mitchell throw-ins. I guess he does a lot of those crunches with the medicine balls where you throw them back and forth between the two people. He must do a lot of those in the work and in the weight room.
Long boot by Edwards into the box, and they'll have to play it back to the goalie Yara. Nice hit by Myers. Maybe an offensive chance here for the Bantams, and it's headed almost through the goalposts of Yara, but he hauls it in.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, the Bantams are able to wreak havoc on those kinds of balls. Some disorganized defense from Tri-Cities, not finding as much luck early against Tormenta. Much more organized in the back and playing a more traditional back four, not as much space as there was against Tri-Cities back three.
10th minute here in a slow starting first half. Nothing at all like what we saw Saturday night at the home opener. And
fans, I want to tell you about a place where you can go to get good advice. Get your questions about health
out of
insurance,
bounds to
cancer,
Tormenta.
meals, or make a premium payment. Where you can dance or exercise or take any of a variety of other classes every week, all for free. What is this place? The South Carolina Blue Retail Center is located at 1260 Bower Parkway, right here in Columbia.
Cheap giveaway from Tormenta. Bantams will happily take possession and see if they can make something of this.
Tormenta's been content to play low-scoring games. They've only outscored their opponents 4-2 through their first 3 matches compared to 8-4 through the first 3 for the Bantams.
Blue Shield Association.
And,
definitely more exciting games for the Bantams.
Yeah, and you know, defense wins championships, and Tormenta, one of the favorites in the Deep South Division. They are 2-0-1 with 2 matches in hand. Long ball going for Weber, and it'll be booted over the sideline off the light tower by Yara, and this will result in a throw-in for the Bantams. Does this look familiar? Here's Myers to take the throw in the offensive third.
He had the throw we were just mentioning, and that may end up going down as a mistake by Meekum. Looks like he could have dealt with that a little more neatly, tried to go back to his keeper, and netted a dangerous throw for the Bantams.
Here's Myers. The header is out of the box. Myers will settle it down. Trying to get the corner as it poked away.
Tried the Meg, wasn't there. It's a great ball.
Here come Tormenta the other way. Through ball, but off the side of the foot backwards, looking for Micheletto, who scored the game winner. And this is likely going to be offside. No offside flag, but it didn't result in an offensive chance, at least initially, for Tormenta. But they are going to get a throw here. But as I was saying, Micheletto, who just had that pass glance off the outside of his foot, he had the game winner in the match against SC United in Statesboro back on May 26th. And actually, this is the first of 3 meetings. Kind of an unbalanced schedule here for Tormenta. They have one more match at Statesboro next month. Good through ball, couldn't connect with Barber.
Bantams had numbers in that attack, needed to do better there.
Bent fans on it, now a chance maybe for Tormenta. Settling it down. Now a chance from the top of the box, whiffed on and cleared. Not all the way out there. Chance from distance, and it goes right into the midst of Edwards. Good hit there by Arslan, but he scuffed it a little bit.
Yeah, always a comfortable save there. Bantams out on a break quickly. That's where they've been most effective in the attack this year.
And that's kind of a judo throw, if you want to use that terminology. That results in a foul and a free kick for the Bantams. Advertising opportunities are available on LSP. Get your company's message on air or on localsportsproductions.com for as little as $25 per ad. Visit localsportsproductions.com/advertising or email sam@localsportsproductions.com for more information as Edwards lets this go over the end line.
We mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast a couple of substitutions for the Bantams, center back and also the keeper, trying to get a little bit more size since the attack from Tormenta would be a little bit direct. And we mentioned at the end of the Tri-Cities broadcast, the Bantams not able to possess the ball especially well for most of that game despite winning 4-1. I thought we may have seen some adjustments in the midfield, something to try and get a little bit more of the possession, but not so for the Bantams. And you know, we've seen similar kinds of issues where they're struggling to maintain possession for a long time, although I think they did just win a corner there.
Yeah, they did win a corner. Tormenta protesting it went off of Barber, but
looked pretty clear from where we were sitting.
Second corner of the match for the Bantams, and it'll be Maniel to swing it. Bantams have had 2 corners and also a deep, in the end, throw-in, none of which have yet led to a score for the Bantams, as it's taken away by Nil Vinyals. For Tormenta, he tries to create some space and couldn't get the through ball to his forward.
Yeah, good work tracking back there from Barber.
Now back the other way come the Bantams. Here's Myers. Kind of shanked that one, and the offside flag is up anyway.
Yeah, I couldn't tell what he was trying to do there. Maybe ping it over the top. Didn't quite make it there. Got to beat the first man if you're going to make an ambitious pass like that.
Well, speaking of ambitious, here's a quick restart by Tormenta. Going down is Jordan Walshaw. He wants a call, not going to get it. He was pretty close to being offside too, but he stayed onside. But in the end, absolutely nothing going on there for Tormenta. And it's just like all these opportunities just being squelched relatively quickly. Nothing sustained for either side.
Yeah, nothing too dangerous. Tormenta, obviously, as we've mentioned now a couple of times, really having the lion's share, but have yet to generate a really good opportunity. The Bantams really need to get some of the ball here. Just possess it for a couple of minutes or they're going to get tired from chasing the ball all over the pitch.
Here's St. Ville. And, you know, you kind of expect a team to have a 4-2 goal differential through 3 matches when they play a 4-5-1 like Tormenta does. You know, you're content to let your defense win you your games.
Yeah, definitely content to sit back, knock the ball around, have a little more possession. As we mentioned, a couple of really dynamic midfielders in Solar and Micheletto who can be counted on for at least a couple of moments of brilliance between them to net you that sort of deciding goal in a low-scoring affair.
Well, I, the Red Sox fan, am happy as I just saw a notification from MLB that J.D. Martinez just hit his 20th. So. Offside flag is up yet again. Positioning not very good early on for both sides. We've had a lot of offside flags.
Yeah, not loose in the same way that the early stages of the Tri-Cities Bantams game was loose, where it didn't seem like either team was controlling the ball particularly well. But this has just been, just a lot of ambitious plays that haven't resulted in much.
Vinyals gets a little bit of a shove, but stays on his feet. Back to the back four, and now to the far side. We had over 1,100 fans in attendance Saturday night, marking the largest crowd in SC United Bantams home match history, as that's over the end line, and this will result in a corner for Tormenta. You know, we talked about how, you know, these opportunities have been squelched pretty easily for both sides, but Tormenta seems to have the cleaner chances thus far.
Absolutely. I mean, the only things you can really say that have gone down as a chance. Now, for the Bantams here, this is where you start to see if those substitutes pay off on these set pieces, see if the taller bodies back there help you get more clearance, because they did struggle. They did kind of fluster a couple of opportunities to defend set pieces on Saturday.
Punched out of the air by Edwards.
That sub looking
Where's
good
the
already.
Dikembe Mutombo finger wag? Chance here for Walshaw. Booted back out of the box all the way towards us. Look out. That will remain with Tormenta, though, and it looks like it'll be Micheletto to throw. Who's he going to leave it for? Well, they got to bring it up a little further. It did.
YouTube is the league's official online video home, offering live
It'll
games
be St. Ville.
and featured content. Subscribe for free to the PDL YouTube channel today. Also, become a fan of the PDL on Facebook. Visit facebook.com/USL.
Nearly a disastrous turnover there for Chapman Page.
But tonight's
Yara
match is also being live streamed by Local Sports Productions. So if any of your friends could not make it here tonight, text them now and tell them
Now
to go
chance,
to our South
Neil
Carolina United
Vanyals.
website.
Vanyals.
Click on the Local Sports Production link and watch it.
Arslan. Soler. Good swarming by the Bantams, forcing them to their back line. And now this will be cleared by Nugent.
Yeah, the only problem with that clear by Nugent, no clear danger from Tormenta, and you're really just giving them the ball back to reset their offense. The Bantams need to settle it down, try and string a few passes together here.
Barber ahead to Weber. Merrick Weber in the corner. Tries to get it in front. Tipped aside. And cleared by Tormenta.
It's a good run, good ball, well defended by Tormenta.
20th minute, no score to this point. Bent, as one of his teammates takes a tumble in the box. Near side Myers. Myers going all the way back to Wells of Tormenta. And
Yeah, I mean, just a really speculative ball there, not trying to pick anyone out in particular, and that's what I'm talking about. You just give Tormenta the ball right back to reset their offense, and the Bantams are left chasing again.
Do you feel like both teams are like throwing at a dartboard blindfolded right now, looking for something to stick?
It does seem like that a little bit. You know, these teams have already played each other once, so, I mean, you would expect to see this if a couple teams are feeling each other out, but these teams know each other reasonably well by now. I would have expected a little bit more directive from both head coaches coming into this.
And they're playing a third time next month,
Fans,
too.
how well do you know your PDL, the top developmental men's league in North America? The 2018 Premier Development League features 72 teams within 4 conferences throughout the U.S. and Canada. The PDL season consists of 14 regular season matches for each team and provides elite collegiate and international players like the ones here tonight the opportunity to taste a higher level of competition while maintaining their college eligibility. In addition to league play,
Micheletto goes down pretty easily there, but the referee's always going to call that. A little bit better from the Bantams, a nice piece of attacking play. Barber would have liked to see him maybe take the space there rather than get rid of that ball as hastily as he did.
For the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup the following year. The PDL has proven to be an important stepping stone for top professionals now playing
St.
throughout
Ville.
the world.
It's a great tackle by Myers.
Taken away by Myers. Great
70%
defense.
of all MLS draftees since 2010 have played right here in the PDL. Nearly 300 former PDL players played in the USL last season, including South Carolina United's own and former Bantams player Braden Troyer, captain of the Richmond Kickers, and former South Carolina United youth player Luke Wachter of the Charlotte Independents.
That's going to go into the woods behind us.
Seasons, almost 750,000 people in North America have attended PDL games. Currently, 9 MLS clubs operate teams in this proven path to the professional ranks. Lastly, over 44 countries are represented by more than 2,000 players that make up your PDL.
Weber.
Just barely missed getting a touch on that one.
Try to get a 2-on-1 going there with Barber, but nothing going there. 22nd minute as we approach the halfway mark of the first half. Kind of a sluggish start for both teams. You know, it bears repeating, like, you know, this is not the crispest of matches. Even the 4-1 win that Bantams picked up Saturday night wasn't the crispest of performances.
No, absolutely not. Just it was really a game of opportunism for the Bantams.
Yep. Now maybe a chance here. Wide open is Arslan. Arslan trying to make a move. Tries to get the middle of the field, but it was booted away at the last minute. Now another chance, and it goes wide of the cage.
That's a great build-up from Tormenta. Real piece of cheeky play there from Solar to slide that ball inside and set up Arslan, and obviously chaos ensues after that. Bantams ultimately defend it well, but that's what you're afraid of. And I was about to say, as the Bantams line up with that diamond 4 in the midfield there, foregoing some of that width, but to this point they've done a pretty good job of squeezing out the midfield, not letting Micheletto and Solar with a lot of time on the ball. It's worked pretty well.
Another corner for Tormenta, headed away. Played all the way to the back line and out of bounds, and that'll be a Bantam's throw, so probably the best possible outcome you could have hoped for.
Absolutely.
Out of that corner.
Goes down as a mistake, and Bantam's fans, players, and coaches alike are all breathing a sigh of relief after that one. Certainly the most threatening piece of attacking play we've seen from Tormenta.
But Tormenta on the attack, forcing them to their back line all the way back to Edwards. Bobby Edwards, near side to Ferguson. Myers, back to Ferguson. Myers, the facilitator on the back line, will lob it ahead, looking to connect with Barber. Barber gets by his man, now tries to center it. Chance at the top of the box. Into too much traffic. Got a little too selfish there.
Good reset, though. I'd much rather see the Bantams send it back out and try to reset the attack than just force an effort there.
Now Tormenta on the counterattack. Far side, Vinyals. Vinyals lobs it ahead, try to connect with Walshaw. And it'll be swallowed up by Edwards. Edwards with a strong toss ahead to Manuel. Manuel connects with Weber. Weber near side, tries to find Barber. Barber puts on the brakes. Goalie's out of position. They score!
There it is. I was about to say, this thing getting wide open. The Bantams taking advantage of a little bit of space in behind. Great ball in for Barber. Although, frankly, at the time, it looked a little bit heavy. But they get the keeper, Jaro, to come out. Barber does a good job to touch the ball away, put it back across. And Weber, easy finish. No keeper in the goal. Gives him 3 on the season. Boy, does he like playing here.
I'll say Barber picks up the assist, and that's a better sequence of play for scoring than any of the goals I think we saw on Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was very simple too. A good ball from Weber to Barber, as I mentioned, was able to get the keeper out, beat him with a touch, and then Weber kept moving. That's the most important thing. Pass and follow your pass is a drill that that soccer coaches will do with you from middle school all the way on. You pass and then you follow your pass. Weber did that, got the return pass, and was able to finish it.
So Weber from Barber in the 25th. And Tormenta in an unfamiliar spot here, trailing. Bantams looking to hand them their first loss of the season and vault into first place in the Deep South Division, pending the results of the other matches tonight.
And your Bantams goal in the 25th minute by number 19, Mark Weber from Grayson Barber.
Bent fans on that one, and it's going to result in another corner for Tormenta.
Bantams have defended set pieces a little bit better in the early stages of this game than they did on Saturday. We'll see if that continues. Credit to the substitutions they've made, though. Kyle Ferguson cutting that ball out. He was one of the ones inserted into the starting lineup tonight.
That'll be out of play as it was caught in the air over the end line, and Edwards looking for an explanation from something from the official. I don't know if he thought there was I don't know what he was looking for. I mean, he got a goal kick out of it. I don't know why he would complain too much. 27th minute, 1-0 our score. Bantams on top. This is the score by which Tormenta won in Statesboro a couple weeks ago. And maybe looking for more. A little bit of a nutmeg there by Weber, but he didn't have much more momentum going after that as it's played back by Meekum. Nice hit by Myers. Now maybe another chance for the Bantams, but it's swept aside.
It's a good find.
By Solar.
Would like to see Roberts try and settle that. He had some space, he had some time, played the first ball on a little flick, wasn't able to find anything. I think the Bantams at time are forcing things a little bit. If they can slow down, just take a breath, take a couple more touches, just one more second to make a decision, either a pass or a dribble, I think they'll find themselves in a lot better positions here in the attacking third.
PDL Soccer on LSP is brought to you by Little Caesars, official sponsor of SC United Bantams and home of the Hot and Ready Pizza. Now it's Tormenta being forced to play catch in their back line a little bit. Now maybe they will try to connect with Cisse. Yaya Cisse, it's a great name to have if you're a soccer player.
Yeah, reminds you of Yaya Toure and Jibril Cisse.
And yeah. Let's see if he's got the skills of both.
If so, he'll be called up before the end of the season.
Mm-hmm. Yet another corner here for Tormenta, as it'll be Solar to swing it. Solar with the left foot will go short. Now top of the box, another touch, and it's blocked and cleared. Not all the way, though. I thought that was going to travel a lot further than it did. Myers getting a little bit of bump and grind there from behind by St. Ville. No call either way. St. has fallen down on his own right there is Maniel. Maniel tries to get it up the near sideline.
Bantams definitely getting lucky on that set piece. Lack of attention. They left Vinyals open, standing just a step inside of the 18, and I couldn't tell if he topped it or if that was the design of the play to try and get one more pass in there and a shot on goal. But either way, Bantams feel like they got away with one there.
And I think the Bantams also feel like Micheletto might have gotten away with a couple of fouls in that last sequence on the near sideline. Here's Micheletto.
This game's certainly picking up in the last 10 minutes.
30th minute. Lone goal scored by Merrick Weber, his third, and in the last two games. The 25th minute on assist from Barber.
Great piece of build-up.
In front. Oh, it goes across the face of the goal. Wow. And this will go over the sideline, and this will actually be Tormenta ball.
Hey, folks, how many?
It's a real missed opportunity there from Manuel. Great little piece of build-up, a 1-2, puts the ball exactly where it needs to be. Manuel's got to finish that.
Here in Columbia is the place to go. And hey, if you're interested in a little free fun for the family this summer, SC Blue has new and exciting events happening every week, and it's all absolutely free. Stop by the SC Blue Retail Center at 1260 Bower Parkway or call 803-264-9000. Find out what they mean when they say SC Blue, here for you. Blue Cross Blue Shield of South Carolina is an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
Nugent. Popped high, and this will be a Bantam's throw.
We haven't seen the long throw. Myers plays on the right side, so typically they limit it to when they're attacking on this side. We'll see if Swanee tries to get one into the box for the Bantams.
Had one opportunity with Myers earlier, but that went by the wayside. This does get into the box. Popped up, and leaping over Barber is the goalie Yara. Yar's got to be careful. He almost handled it outside the 18. And that'll be a foul on Bent. And I agree that was a foul, but
that's a generous call in favor of Tormenta.
I think there have been some more egregious calls that haven't been called tonight.
Yeah, I always feel bad for penalizing a defending player for just standing his ground, but
yeah. So set piece here for Tormenta in what's going to be the 33rd minute. Punched out of the air again by Edwards.
Strong punch, and that's why you got him in there. Get a little bit more length to come and collect balls on set pieces, which Tormenta has had a whole heck of a lot of here in the first half.
Back to Yara. Yara's got to be careful. I thought he was about to get his hands up on that one. You know,
he's flirting with the edge of the box. Thinks he's Manuel Neuer back there.
Oh my God. Was it Neuer or wasn't there a goalie in the last Euros who got a red for handling it outside the 18? Was it?
It sounds. I don't think that was Neuer. I can't remember who that was. That does sound vaguely familiar.
I don't know. If you're making plays like that, though, you shouldn't be playing for Bayern.
We got our researchers back home to find out that one for us.
Hey, Harvey the Rabbit, what do you know? No researchers here, folks. Just us and an iPad. And a laptop.
But if you know what we're talking about, just go ahead and tweet at me, at Pearson Fowler.
At LSP37, if you can find the clip. Now that I think about it, I don't think it was a Euros match.
Could have been in qualifying or just a friendly or something. That does sound familiar, though.
Yeah, it was in the last couple of years that I saw this clip, so. Anyways, 34th minute. Still 1-0. Still holding strong as Weber's 25th minute tally. Trying to get through the defense's Walshaw. Now swung and off a foot, and this is going to result in yet another corner for Tormenta.
A lot of set pieces, and this is sort of what we expected. You mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast playing with 5 midfielders, just one up top. Their attacks are generally going to be a little slower, a little more methodical. It's going to lend itself to some more low-scoring games, but where they do like to capitalize, and this is something that Adrian Panasco, the assistant head coach for the Bantams, mentioned to me before the game, they do like to capitalize on set pieces. Bantams have done a good job defending those so far.
Here's a chance again. We should release a video game called Bobby Edwards Punch-Out, huh? Little Mac takes on Bobby Edwards as the final boss. And that goes wide right, and Edwards wants a foul.
And he's got it.
Well, slow to get up is Swanee, but he's okay.
Having the extra length has really paid off. A couple of important punches here from Edwards in the first half.
Want LSP to tape or broadcast your team's games? Rates start just $100 per game. Also ask LSP about streaming your next gaming tournament, wedding, concert, recital, school play, meeting, graduation, or other event. Visit localsportsproductions.com/services or email sam@localsportsproductions.com for more information. Another throw here for the Bantams.
Soccer fans, you can stay up to date with what is happening throughout the league at uslpdl.com.
Love that sunset right now.
Because it's behind the trees.
Behind the trees, still a good color though. All the way back to Yara. Yara under duress from Barber. Now he clears it. Bent got wrestled with, and that's going to be out to Bantams, rather. Gets free, heads it away. Now to Tormenta. Into Walshaw. Taking a tumble there, trying to play it as Arslan, but he gets back to his feet, gets it to Walshaw. Walshaw gets taken down.
Yeah, a clumsy challenge there from Bent. Didn't really need to make it. The player's got his back to the goal. Not an especially threatening move. Just got to contain him. Don't allow him to turn. Instead, you go in with a clumsy challenge, pick up a yellow card, and give Tormenta a set piece just a couple minutes before halftime. Not a smart play by Bent.
Yellow card issued in the 37th minute to number 23, Daniel Bent.
Daniel picked up a yellow in the last one, didn't he?
And he's got to watch himself. Accumulation.
So, yet another set piece for Tormenta as they try to level. Who's going to take it? Oh, here we are. Too strong over everything and into the beer garden. On top of the beer garden, in fact.
Yeah, really poor ball there. Edward's happy to see that one go over. We have at least one person listening to this broadcast. My mother texted me, "Hi, Mom," and wanted to let me know that it was Kevin Trapp for PSG. They got a red card against Tottenham last year. That may be what we were thinking of.
For handling
for PSG,
handling,
yep.
Yeah,
for
okay.
handling outside the box.
Okay.
Kevin Trapp, ladies and gentlemen.
All right.
Also, hi, Mom.
Speaking of Mom, hi Mom, happy 73rd birthday. I'll be sure to get you, our traditional snarky birthday card when I get back.
That Weber goal was for her.
My family has this tradition of trying to see who can send the most insulting birthday card.
Sounds like a good family tradition. Sounds like my family, honestly.
Oh, man. Staying on side here is Walshaw, but it's headed away. Back to Bent. Bent shies away from it, giving Arslan an opportunity. Let's try to play it along the far sideline, working on Bent. Now getting support from Manuel, and it's forced back.
It was a really good job to recover and win that ball, but as you mentioned, a little bit tepid going into that first challenge. That's one of the bad things about picking up a yellow card early in the game. You can't be late, you can't be wrong on any more challenges for the rest of the game. You kind of lost that safety blanket.
St. Veal, and that's hit over the end line. St. Veal will take the throw in the corner. Well, Vignals wanted a foul. I think Myers wanted a foul too, but in the end, it's going to be a goal kick.
Yeah, good defending there. Poor decision from Vignals to try and go one-on-one there. I'm not exactly sure what his plan was.
Fans, a reminder as we approach the halftime break, remember that your Bantams Beer Garden is open. Our regular concessions is open, and we welcome Venezuela and One Bite, Los Bellos Portales, and Carolina Colonels to tonight's home opener. And as always, Little Caesars Pizza. Great folks, great food, great fun. And if the Bantams Beer Garden isn't your thing, you can wash all the great food down with a cool,
now
refreshing
maybe another
drink
chance
from
for
our
the
wonderful
Bantams.
sponsor,
A little
Pepsi,
too
that
high.
was born in the Carolinas.
Swung
And the
away
first
by
largest champion of
Wells.
the gate. Gatorade, Mountain Dew, Pepsi, and
back the other
Aquafina.
way. Come the Bantams, bet's taken away.
Good job tracking back.
Ferguson.
Manuel really doesn't need to make that attempted little dink over the top that he did. There were other options there, and the Bantams just squandering what could be really good opportunities here. They haven't seen much of the ball, and obviously they're leading, but I feel like they could have manufactured at least one or two more really good opportunities. They had, as I mentioned earlier, just take a little more time, pick your head up, pick out a man, or have a dribble.
Cisse was convinced that ball was off of Myers, but instead goes for a Bantams throw. Well, after that nice nice sequence that led to the Weber goal. It's back to kind of the stuff we saw at the beginning of the match, isn't it?
Yeah, a lot of long balls, not much possession, and Tormenta's, as we have talked about throughout the broadcast,
maybe a chance here for Walshaw, but it goes right to Edwards.
They're content to just control the ball, maybe get a couple set pieces here and there. They're not going to give it up. They're not going to play a lot of long balls. It's pretty tight in possession, and the Bantams just haven't seen much of it.
Yeah, and it bears repeating. This is a short season. This is only a 14-match season, so you gotta, every match counts, 2 or 3 times more than it does in most other leagues.
Especially when you're talking about this being the second matchup between the two of them, and it looks like these two teams are going to be at the top.
One more to go, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
.43rd minute. Now we have a whistle away from the ball. I think we're going to get another booking here. I think the referee... No, he didn't have a card out. My mistake. Just coming back.
Bantams player slow to get up. Looked like Swanee, who had been making a run all the way up. Felt like he was fouled on a late challenge. Referee didn't call it, but noticeably limping back into play.
Meekum, near side St. Ville. St. Ville and Myers have been battling a lot tonight. St. Ville wins that one.
Myers is just so active on the perimeter out there, both in the attack and defense. That dude has a motor.
St. Ville trying to spin away from Roberts. Roberts had a goal and an assist Saturday night. Tap down by Cisse. Give to Vignals. Vignals from distance. Over everything.
Tough shot, ambitious, going away from the goal. That's always going over. I will say that's really the first notable bit of attacking play that we've seen Tormenta be able to generate going through the middle, which is how they prefer to attack. The Bantams have done a really good job to relegating them to playing out and then back into the box, and the Bantams have done a great job of cleaning up, and that's where it helps to insert another center back that's a little bit taller and having a taller keeper back there. The Bantams game plan really, really working well here.
And for a little bit of pinball header. Tormenta's got it. A little speed there by Solar. Nice ball. Chance here for Tormenta. And are they going for a handball?
Absolutely not. Squarely in the chest of Bent. That'd be very harsh.
It's going to end up as a corner.
I think the appeals for a PK there are almost perfunctory. Whenever there's any sort of weird collision in the box, the opposing team just has to assume it's a penalty.
Because that's what you're supposed to do.
Got to sell it.
Chance. Oh, it's in! From out of nowhere, it's Jerry St. Ville. And in the 45th minute, we're tied.
That's a killer. Right on the stroke of halftime. Tormenta grabs back the momentum, and a little bit of a scuffle after the play. St. Ville celebrating right at the top of the 18 in the midst of some Bantams players, and it seems like a couple of them took issue with it. See if the referee
By number 9, Jerry St. Ville.
gives out any cards here.
Bent's in the middle of it, and remember, he's already got a yellow.
Official time is now kept on the field.
Just a firm talking to for the players, but that's a killer for the Bantams. That's Tormenta really winning a war of attrition. They've had so many set pieces this half, and though the Bantams have mostly defended them well, and even though the substitutions that we talked about, get some bigger bodies back there so that doesn't happen, at some point you just give the other team that many chances. One of them's bound to go in, and it's unfortunate that it was right on the stroke of halftime.
Let's see if the Bantams can get one last chance before halftime, but it goes right back to Yara. This is going to be frustration for the Bantams because they had Tormenta on the ropes at home. They could have stolen a point. Instead, they fell 1-0, and now they're level at 1 at home. And you like to get at least 1 point from this squad.
And this is where you really start to feel the effects of not having had much of the ball. Now Tormenta's tied the game up, and when was the last time we saw a good piece of Bantams attacking play? They're just like that Tri-Cities game. They're going to be happy to see halftime.
Yeah, now we got some more. I got some more issues here along the far sideline. Is we got a
looks like Arslan's the one down for Tormenta.
And do we have any bookings here?
Didn't look like that clumsy of a challenge. Looked like he did fall a little bit, unfortunately. Didn't look like anything malicious in it, although this is certainly getting a little heated and a little chippy the last couple minutes.
Well, halftime can't come soon enough just to let the players cool off. Yeah, that's Arslan. He's up. Looks like he'll be okay to continue.
Maybe just got the wind knocked out of him. Like I said, didn't look like a malicious challenge. Just fell kind of awkwardly. May have had the wind knocked out of him.
So we'll check to see if there are any bookings at halftime. You didn't see any, did you?
No bookings there.
Not exactly a simple foul, but St. Ville on Myers. That's been a great matchup all night. Threads the needle to Chapman Page, and it's clear at the last minute, and there's the halftime whistle. Not a moment too soon, although maybe a few moments too late if you're the Bantams after giving up that late goal in the 45th minute on the backdoor header by St. Ville.
We were expecting a entertaining, tightly contested match, and that's exactly what we've got, and I expect the second half to be no less entertaining.
We'll take a timeout. We'll be back in about 15 minutes with the second half from the South Carolina United Soccer Center in Columbia, South Carolina, with your scorer, SC United Bantams 1, South Georgia Tormenta 1. This is PDL Soccer on LSP, presented by Little Caesars, home of the hot and ready pizza.
And your second half is now underway.
Welcome back to the second half of PDL Soccer on LSP, presented by Little Caesars, home of the hot and ready pizza. Sam Feely alongside Pearson Fowler. 1-1 our score between the Bantams and Tormenta. 25th minute goal by Merrick Weber put the Bantams up 1-0, and then at the end of regulation time, the first half, St. Ville evened it at 1 with a backdoor header on a corner kick, and the set pieces were the story of the game for Tormenta in the first half, Pearson.
Yeah, and the Bantams actually defended them well for the most part, made a couple of substitutions, put in a taller center back and Kyle Ferguson, a taller keeper, and Bobby Edwards mostly defended it well, but Tormenta, frankly, just had so many set pieces. It was a war of attrition that the Bantams were always going to lose. As you mentioned, right on the stroke of halftime is when they scored, and you just have to hope that Coach Lee Morris was able to get these guys settled down and hope we get a little better effort. You mentioned the Bantams got up early, but it was sort of the same thing we saw against Tri-Cities, where it was very fortunate opportunism, a nice build-up and a nice finish by Weber, netting his third of the season. But other than that, the Bantams didn't see much of the ball in the first half.
Faryar. Near side Vincent, and they said it went out of bounds. Halftime couldn't have come at a better time, just in terms of the emotions of the game, maybe not in terms of the score for the Bantams, though. It was getting really chippy. You saw the goal and the celebration by St. Ville, but emotions were running hot even before that between the two teams, and maybe some more here. Is a little bit of a tangle job on the far side, but lobbed ahead to Weber. Weber is not going to win this one, I don't think. And Connor Antley, is that Antley, or is that Chapman Page he was wrestling with there? And whatever, it's going to be a goal kick for Tormenta.
Yeah, a long, hopeful ball. We saw probably too many of those from the Bantams in the first half. I want to see him settle it down a little more.
From Tormenta, too. Just the
Yeah, Bantams doing a good job constricting what Tormenta wants to do, coming through the middle, not letting him get that build-up through the midfield, sort of limiting them to attacking the perimeter, playing longer balls, which is not what Tormenta wants to do, but the Bantams also don't want to be doing that themselves, and that's sort of what they were left doing for most of the first half.
I meant the metaphor I mentioned that we saw for much of the first half was both teams blindfolded throwing at a dartboard, hoping something sticks. And I feel like maybe here's a chance here for the Bantams. Nice little move there by Faryar, kicked aside, out to the far sideline. Bantams will reset back to the back line and Ferguson.
Yeah, another good build up there. And again, happier to see the Bantams reset than try to force something. Just want to see them with more of the ball and manufacturing some genuine opportunities.
Good touch there to Vincent. Vincent with some space will give it up. Might have shanked that pass a little bit. Lobbed into the box. Weber's onside. They score!
That's beautiful. Great build-up. And, I mean, that's what I was talking about. As soon as I say it, the Bantams put together a nice little string of possession, get some passes together. They get it from the midfield. A nice ball over the top. Looked like Weber was going to get there to net his second of the game, fourth of the season. But a great follow and a great finish by Faryar makes it a sure thing. Buries that in the back of the net. It looked like
49th minute by number 8.
Yeah, it looked like Faryar there with the goal.
Faryar gets the goal in the 49th minute. Salar Faryar gets the Bantams back in front, 2-1.
Yep, just a nice build-up, as I mentioned, and a great effort by Faryar. That was really an effort goal. The ball intended for Weber couldn't quite get there, and Faryar just comes streaking in and makes it a sure thing.
Vincent takes a tumble, running right into his defender. A little slow, but then springing to his feet is Vinyals. Back to Vincent. Vincent plays it back to Bent. Bent trying to get it to Weber. Booted by Solar.
And anytime Weber goes in for a challenge, I just expect to hear a subsequent crunch. Even out there with a bunch of fully grown men, I mean, he makes them look like children.
Man.
He is built like a tank.
That'll serve you well at the next level when you got to tussle for positioning and on set pieces, especially corner kicks. Roberts gets it free, and that's going to be booted all the way to Spartanburg by Maniel.
Skied that one, never really had a chance. But again, better build-up from the Bantams. That's a lot. Frankly, that and the goal that we just saw, those are the two best chances of the game. Even though they scored in the first half, it wasn't the same kind of quality build-up. I like to see the Bantams controlling it, moving the ball back around to the middle of the pitch, and where they found a little bit of space, and then just operating from there. Another good build-up. Good halftime adjustments from Coach Morris, who wasn't able to make those kinds of adjustments late in the first edition of this game as he was sent off. So
and there's going to a foul called here against Tormenta. That's the right call.
Tormenta whistle for the foul.
And this continues to be a little heated, a little chippy. We expected this to be entertaining, and a couple of teams that, as we mentioned, do know each other. Might be a little bit of history there for some of these players.
So Ferguson's going to take this. Headed down, now chipped. And the offside flag is up, I believe. Or is it a foul? Foul. Foul on the Bantams. And a whistle.
Bantams whistled for the foul.
There's going to be an extra booking after that, but... Or
our first substitution of the match.
Okay.
Cisse subbing off, and once I get the number for the player subbing in, we'll give that to you.
So Cisse out for Tormenta.
Looks like that's Mikey Rowe
Mikey
that's
Rowe,
just
number
checked
11.
in for Tormenta.
Or Tormenta.
Well cut out by Swanee there.
Number 11, Mikey Rowe into the game
Vincent
for Tormenta.
Trying to wrestle away from Vinyals. And played back to Bent. Bent. I'll go over Weber. He'll try to pressure Meekum. Oh, good.
Excellent work.
Yeah, good work there. Now maybe a chance here for Barber.
Barber just picked his pocket, couldn't quite get the return pass right. Could Weber. Bantams had a break there, but good activity on the ball defensively by the Bantams.
Tormenta on the counterattack, but it's slowed down and taken away. Turnover.
Given away cheaply there.
Tormenta looking to level. Nice clear at the top of the box. Back out to Roberts. Roberts up the far sideline, and that's going to be a handball.
Yep. Unlucky bounce there. Looked like Weber had a turn, had a beat on his man, but
looks like we're going to have another substitution for Tormenta. And we'll get a number for you in a little bit.
Vinyals coming off for Tormenta.
And that'll be Kadu Casadas coming in. Casadas has 1 goal on the season for Tormenta.
For Tormenta, number 16, Kadu Corsadas.
Played back to Wells. In the middle of the pitch, they connect with Weber. Weber lobs it ahead, but it's not strong enough to get to Barber.
And does a good job to control that, but that's got to be a better pass there to Barber.
I invite you to wake up with Brook and Jubal in the morning and 10 songs in a row all day at work. At Q93.5, we play the hits.
Thread the needle. The newly entered row.
Late challenge. Saw this exact thing from Bent last week. Has all the
Yep.
physical tools, has all the size, has played a pretty good game. But picked up a yellow card in the first half. Don't think this will be yellow card offense.
But it's going to be another PK.
But it is going to
Second
be another PK.
In as many matches allowed by the
By
Bantams.
Foul in the box. PK for Tormenta.
This is exactly what the Bantams coaching staff had warned me about before the game. We talked about Tormenta playing with those 5 midfielders. They like to attack. They like to be very direct. They like to go through the midfield, through Solar and through Micheletto. The Bantams have done a pretty good job of squeezing out the attack, but we saw right there just a really nice through ball. Tormenta able to attack directly and not directly get a goal, but at least force a penalty.
Chatterton guessed right on Saturday, but he just sneaking it in as they did guess right. Did Edwards, but they got it in this time, and it is level at 2 once again.
Yeah, Chatterton guessed right on Saturday. Edwards guessed right tonight, but just an excellent penalty kick. You can't do it any better than that. Just bottom corner right in the side netting. Excellent penalty.
The Tormenta goal comes in the 57th minute for the equalizer. Bantams 2, Tormenta 2.
Bantams looking to get the lead back, and it goes over the end line for a corner.
Both teams playing with a lot of urgency to start the second half. No surprise, as it was a tie ball game, but it also feels like both teams are getting a little bit more of what they want to do. They're attacking a little more like you would have expected them to in the first half, a little more directly through the midfield, a little more possession for both teams, and netting twice early already.
Lob from the far sideline, headed out. Punched out. Oh! Did that go over the goal line? They're not going to give it to him.
Bent wanted his redemption, and that was it. And I bet if we had video-assisted referee, they would have called that a goal.
We're going to have to go audio only for a little bit, though, as we lost the battery for the camera, folks. But more extracurriculars on the far sideline.
Late challenge, studs up. Very, very clumsy challenge. Yellow card, the right decision there. This thing's heating up.
Yellow card issued to Tormenta. Free kick for the Bantams.
Looked like that was number 21, Jad Arslan, with the challenge. And picked up the yellow card. Bantams will have a free kick just on the other side of midfield.
So Marco Micheletto, who got the had the equalizer just now on the PK, he had the game winner. As this is lobbed into the box and headed down.
Cries for handball.
Yep.
I didn't see it.
Onto the near side, and Micheletto. Keeping it in on the near sideline is Wells. Wells into the offensive third, tries to thread it for Micheletto. And winning the race there is Vincent, and it will go out of bounds for a goal kick.
Yeah, good work there. And if you're the Bantams, you need to control the tempo. You need to slow it down a little bit. Doesn't look like that's their idea. With a quick and long free kick from Edwards.
He lost the battery. He doesn't have any battery. Chance here for Tormenta. Loose in the box, not all the way out yet, and eventually it'll be Manuel.
And Swanee went down in a heap. The result of a bad challenge. Couldn't tell exactly what happened there, but he is limping considerably.
We'll try to have the
concerned about good health.
try to have the camera back up as soon as we can, folks. Just
sometimes that's not so easy. Well, you're in luck because the folks at the South Carolina Blue
Swanee
Beach Health
continuing
Center are ready to
on,
help you.
not signaling that he
And
needs
with
to be
free
subbed
classes
out.
like Zumba and healthy cooking they can help you get healthy and stay there.
No.
Of course, if you need health insurance, they can help you there too. Visit
Tormenta
them at
building out
1260
wide.
Power Parkway in Columbiana Station, or call 803-264-9000. And you'll understand why they say
Tormenta maintaining possession, and it's really just flailing limbs out there. A late challenge coming in from Barber. Easy foul call. Would be lucky to not pick up a card there. That challenge was extremely late. Both teams just playing at breakneck pace and frankly recklessly. As I mentioned, just limbs flying everywhere. Challenges coming in late. And another set piece for Tormenta. Close to midfield, not terribly threatening, and they're just going to knock it around. Bantams reset their shape. Cheaply given away. A foul and a quick reset goes the Bantams' way. Look like they're trying to control the pace, settle this down just a little bit.
Foul. Bantams resume play.
Good turn from Barber. He lost it. The ball spills out to Harrison. Harrison sizes up his man, has Swanee with him. Nice give and go. Swanee whips one in, and it's over everybody's head. Ball's a little too far out for a throw-in for Tormenta. Pretty good build-up there for the Bantams. Able to control the pace. Inject some order back into this game, which has been chaos for most of the second half. We'll have our first substitution for the Bantams. It's going to be number 10, JB Maniel, coming out and checking in for the Bantams. As soon as I get a number, I'll let you know. It's like Suko checking in for the Bantams.
The Bantams, number 12, Justin Suko.
Unlucky there on the header. Good build up on the touchline. Swanee gets a touch. Bantams get it clear, but just barely. Tormenta maintains possession. Bantams scrambling there defensively.
I think I know how to do this. Yeah. Okay.
Referee instructing Nick Wells to move back on his throw-in. Wells takes the throw in, an exaggerated fall there. The Bantams will maintain possession, get a throw in. Swanee looking up the field. Weber controls, down to Harrison, back to Weber. Ball bouncing around the middle. Nobody can maintain possession for more than a couple of passes here. Long ball ahead by the Bantams is going to go comfortably to Jaro, who resets quickly for Tormenta. Ball goes up the field. Ricochets out for a throw-in for the Bantams. Bantams look like they're really trying to slow this down, start to control the pace of this, but haven't been able to maintain the possession. Tormenta flying around, excellent on-ball pressure as Bent passes it up the field. Good turn by Faryar. Back to Suko. Suko finds Swanee on the edge. Swanee gives it away, and Tormenta's away in the midfield. Building up the left wing, but Barber does a good job tracking back. Not quite able to win it. Tormenta appealing for a foul just outside the 18, but they're not going to get it. The Bantams going to have themselves a goal kick. Excuse me, that's going to be a throw-in on the far sideline. Long throw ahead, flicked on by Weber, nobody there. Tormenta throw.
Fans want a great place to have pint and some great pub food and a true soccer
Throw in,
environment.
ball flicked on, easily cleared.
Cock and Bull Grill Pub on Rosewood Drive.
Bantams maintain possession in the midfield.
The Cock and Bull is a great place to go.
Long ball forwards towards far yard, but easily dealt with by Tormenta.
World Cup this summer.
Roberts gets possession, passes ahead to Suko. Suko sizes up his option, makes a move, and is swarmed by Tormenta defenders who clear the ball. Swanee pokes it away before the Tormenta attack can get going. It'll be a Tormenta throw-in on their own half. Tormenta works it around the back, sizing up their options, start to move it back up the pitch. Bantams behind the ball. Tormenta still moving through the midfield. This is where they want to be building. They want to be building in the midfield through their dynamic midfielders, and they got that. Ball goes back out wide, comes in, well deflected by Swanee. Tormenta has another corner.
Tormenta corner kick.
A lot of set pieces for Tormenta, mostly defended well by the Bantams. Tormenta thought about taking it short. Now they're going to set this up for a more traditional corner. It does go short. Just outside the 18. Second ball comes in. Edwards comes out, tries to punch it. Looks like he got just enough on it. It's going to be a Tormenta throw-in on the far sideline. Ball's in play quickly. Sizing up his options. Ball goes into the box, and it's over everybody's head all the way out to the near sidelines. Bantams are going to have a throw. Nobody really in the box. A speculative ball there. Bantams need to clear their lines, though. Tormenta packing it in, trying not to allow anything over their heads. Ball goes in. Faryar loses it. Tormenta regains possession, resets their back line all the way up around midfield right now. Still continuing to work through the middle. Bantams did a good job of restricting that in the first half, but Tormenta finding a little bit more space in the midfield now. Ball goes in. Easy turn. Tormenta has a shot on, but a slow roller is always going to be a comfortable save for Bobby Edwards, who tries to get the counter started quickly. Skies a long, high punt towards Faryar. It's bouncing around, controlled by Suko. Suko looking at options. Finds Roberts in the midfield. Roberts running far sideline. Finds Barber. Barber gets the ball, knocks away, is able to maintain possession. Nobody showing for him. Takes it back center. Almost loses the ball. Suko plays a ball in. Weber's in. Takes a spill. Looks like that's going to be a corner kick for the Bantams.
Corner kick.
Took a little bit of deflection. Weber almost in there. Fell over. Was fortunate that the Tormenta defender was not able to control that and clear it. Looks like that's going to be Faryar taking the corner for the Bantams. Faryar, Roberts. Long ball headed to the far post. Bent's not able to get there. He is able to recycle the ball, though. Bantams forced all the way back into their own half. Ball played back to Bobby Edwards, who boots it back up. Knocked away, but out of play by Tormenta. Suko looking to take the throw on the near sideline quickly.
Nike is a proud sponsor of the PDL. Follow at Nike Soccer on Twitter for all the latest Nike soccer information.
Bantams making another substitution. Looks like that's Harrison Roberts checking out of the game, and checking in looks like Liam Ireland, I think. I can't see the number, but I know y'all can't either, so it's okay. You'll just have to trust me on this. Yeah, that's Justin Little checking in, not Liam Ireland.
Bantam substitution number 5, Justin Little.
Throw-ins cleared by Tormenta. Ball played back into the box, but cleared by Tormenta, but not all the way. Barber maintains possession. Ball's up to Suko. Nugent recycles.
Soccer fans, it's easy to stay in touch with your Bantams and the PDL while you're not here at the games. Follow at SC United Bantams and at USL PDL on Twitter to become a PDL League insider. Join club conversations and track notable alumni.
One more correction, that was Faryar subbing out for the Bantams, not Roberts, as Tormenta regains possession. Has the ball in the midfield, working up the left flank. They have numbers played in, nobody waiting in the box. Roberts controls possession around the top of the 18 and takes off, has Suko and Weber in front of him. Weber to Suko. Suko settles it down, looks out wide, has Barber, plays Barber on the wing. Has a man to beat. Takes his time, sizes him up, cuts inside, gives it off. Cleared by Tormenta, but the ball will stay with the Bantams. It's going to be a throw-in close to midfield. It's like a Tormenta substitution now. Number 21, Jad Arslan, exiting the game. And again, they don't put the number on the short, so I got to wait till they turn around to tell you who the sub is. And I'm facing the wrong way to do that, so I'll let you know as soon as this guy turns around. That'll be number 14, Jacques Francois for Tormenta.
Now in the game for Tormenta, number 14.
Bantams take the throw in, work it around the back. Swanee working on his defender, a little bit loose with the touch. And the ball goes out for a Tormenta throw deep in their own half. Tormenta takes the throw. Also working it around the back. Both teams settling in a little bit. 20 more minutes yet in this one. I have a feeling it's going to be a long one. Tormenta working up the left side. Tries to play a through ball, not quite on. Looked like Jordan Walshaw was offsides. Had he gotten there, that's going to be a goal kick for the Bantams.
Goal kick, Bantams.
Edwards taking his time, and with that last Bantam substitution, subbing Faryar out and Justin Little in. That is a midfielder for defense sub. Would seem like Lee Morris would be content to get a point from this one, although the Bantams still have no qualms about going forward. Long goal kick is controlled as Barber makes a run along the touchline, tries to get it back across, cleared by Tormenta. Ball pinballing around in the midfield. Headed back in by the Bantams, headed back out by Tormenta. Tormenta clears it up the field. The clearance is then subsequently cleared by the Bantams, out for a Tormenta throw. Tormenta continuing to work up that left sideline, finding a little bit of space there. Have the ball out wide. Numbers coming into the box for Tormenta with one man to beat. Excellent tackle, though. Tormenta takes a throw in. Still controlling the ball on the far sideline. A nice 1-2 gets the ball in. Easily dealt with by Little, though, who clears it, but recontrolled by Tormenta. Tormenta kicks it back out wide, puts another ball in. Bobby Edwards makes a theatrical save, but no real threat, no Tormenta players in the vicinity. In the end, it's comfortable.
Bobby Edwards.
Rolls it out to Daniel Bent. Outside to Swan Vincent. Bantams working it around in their own half now. Bent controls again. Back to Vincent, to Roberts. Roberts back to Edwards. Edwards to Little. Bantams maybe not as urgent as we saw them just a couple of minutes ago. Maybe settling for a point, or rather content with a point. I won't say settling. Obviously still going forward. Got a long diagonal ball that goes nowhere. Tormenta regains possession. But Weber does a great job to win it back in the Tormenta half. Plays it back to Suko. Cheeky little back heel to Swan Vincent, who plays Roberts. Roberts looking. Plays it back. Ball going all the way back.
We want to thank all our sponsors and
to
partners.
Justin Little.
Blue Cross Blue Shield of South Carolina.
Little plays it up to Barber.
Little Caesars Pizza.
Ball is cleared, but back to Little.
Parker Poe,
Around
Adams
to
Bernstein,
Bent.
LLP.
Bent
LTC
surveys his
Associates
options.
Architects. Modern Turf.
Loose pass there
Betsy,
from Kyle Ferguson,
Knight, Petrus, and Stormer.
but the Bantams are able to recover, maintain possession,
93.5. Smoothie King.
trying to
Storage
work
Express,
out of
statewide security
their own
systems,
half of the field.
Soccer Plus,
Long balls
CrossFit
sent
Green,
forward.
the Beard Keller,
Tormenta's not able to
Cocktail
control it.
Lab.
Ball
We would also
ricochets
like
off
to
of
thank
Grayson
so many of the
Barber
companies and entities
as he
who were
closes
involved
down
in the
on the
construction
Tormenta
of this
player,
school
but Tormenta's
complex,
ultimately
where
going to have a
Otherwise
throw in.
played an important role in helping
Looks like
us
one more
get up and running
substitution
so
for the
you can enjoy all
Bantams.
this
It's going to
tonight.
be
They
Marek
include
Weber
Enviro Ag
checking
Science,
out of the game.
Palmetto Civil
Scored the
Engineering,
Bantams' first,
Condon
third he's
Construction,
scored here
Ryan Brewer Fencing,
at SC United Soccer
West
Complex.
Electric,
And
Hinkle
checking into the
Plumbing,
game for the
SC
Bantams
Heating and Air,
is going to be
SE
number
for me,
14, Ben Gilligan.
Colbert Electric, Randy Shumpert Drilling, Modern Turf, MB
Tormenta
Law
throw-in
Irrigation,
results in a
Open
foul.
Base Systems,
Barber going through the
Hoover
back
Building
on the
Systems,
throw-in.
The Bleacher Medic, the City of
Tormenta
Columbia
takes the
Planning
free kick
Department,
quickly,
the Economic
has a big
Development
switch.
Corporation,
Now on the near
North Columbia
sideline,
Business Association,
collected and
and Columbia International
continuing to work around the
University.
back
Thank you for all of
is
your support.
Tormenta. I said earlier, maybe a defensive sub for the Bantams, but frankly, it looks like both of these teams are getting a little winded after playing at such a breakneck pace for the majority of the second half. Tormenta now even slowing down a little bit as they continue to work the ball up the pitch.
And we've got picture. Pearson, thank you so much for weathering the storm for us.
That was fun. I'm sweating profusely as I continue to check the names in front of me, make sure I'm getting everybody right.
Sorry to do that to you.
That was
guys.
great. Trial by
Sorry,
fire.
folks.
I love it.
Jacques Francois meeting a double team, has it poked away from him it'll be over the sideline for a throw for Tormenta. So yeah, Murphy's Law works overtime in television, in case you didn't know already. Well, with that said, and we have a stoppage as we had an extra ball come onto the field.
As if anything more chaotic needed to happen in this game.
Yep.
An extra ball.
Dude, you did fine. You probably did better than I did.
I wouldn't go that far.
Yes, I would. Anyways.
Good
Going
work
down.
to hold off the defender there.
Going down on the near sideline is Ben Gilligan, who had a brace against Peachtree.
Name for the Bantams, number 14, Ben Gilligan.
And the Bantams will have a free kick right on the midfield stripe. So Jordan Walshaw is coming off, and more defensive substitutions, huh?
Yeah, looks like it. I don't know if the Bantams are just bunkering in, expecting one last flurry from Tormenta, or if they're really satisfied to take a point. You think the Bantams have really played well enough to deserve at least something from this? It would feel really terrible for the Bantams to come away with this with nothing. Obviously, you would prefer the 3 points, and they're not going to completely shut it down, but certainly some more defensive-minded substitutions here.
Yeah, and if you're the Bantams, you feel like you should have had the point on the road as well.
Absolutely.
Now
But
in the game for the
1
Bantams,
point from
number
these
7, Liam
first two
Ireland.
matches, while Tormenta takes 4, would
8, Sawyer Faryard.
not feel great and really put you behind the 8 ball.
Ferguson guilty of a foul there, undercutting his man on that free kick. Phelps. Wells gives it back. Trying to find some room. There is Chapman Page. Now Solar. Right to the near side. Given up. Swung in front off of Ben, and it'll come to the near side, into the corner, and cleared, but kind of into a dangerous spot. Kind of a bad angle there on the sweep. Now the Bantams trying to get a through ball into the offensive end, and it'll be swallowed up by Yara.
Yeah, on the other end, really important interception there from Bent. Just a great job of being in the right place at the right time. Was able to get enough of that ball that it couldn't get through. That was a really dangerous position for Tormenta. Excellent tackle there. And a frustration tackle from behind by Tormenta.
Final 10 minutes of regulation. And Bantams want to salvage a point here. They won't jump Tormenta. And they would get into they would remain behind Peachtree in the table. They would have 7 points if this result holds. Good shot from distance, but it's wide right on the attempt by Nugent.
Yeah, speculative effort from Nugent.
A lot of you're using that word a lot tonight, speculative. You're using an actual word for it. I'm going for the metaphor, like the blindfolded dart game.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I guess that's just something I've picked up from years of watching soccer. That's always how the Brits describe it.
It's the exact same thing, you just to hope for the best, just see what happens, but nothing has really happened out of those opportunities for either side tonight on the speculative balls.
Yeah, we'll call that one ambitious there. That one was ambitious as well.
Yeah, but you can't expect all your opponents to have mishap like the Otters did on Saturday night on the fourth goal that Barber scored.
Yeah, been a pretty cleanly played game from both teams. Not a lot of cheap giveaways and not in important areas anyways.
It didn't seem like it was going to be that way at the start. It was a lot of sluggish, back and forth, passing in the back four. Mm-hmm. No one really got anything going. But, once Tormenta started to get their set pieces going together, that really woke up the Bantams. Then they eventually got the opening salvo on Weber, and it looked really good. And then 15 seconds before halftime, St. Veal with the backdoor header, and then a goal, and then they trade goals here in the second half, and now we are 7.5 away plus stoppage time from a result that I think both teams will in the end be happy to take if it holds.
Yeah, Tormenta a little more so, obviously able to win the first of 3 at home. The Bantams would like to get the same kind of result. As you mentioned, Bantams already below them in this early stage in the table. But this is really an interesting testament. We talked earlier on Saturday about the Otters game, and
as this is whoa, Edwards nearly had a colossal mistake there and nearly let it go into his own goal, but he cleans it up.
Yeah, a little more of a scare than he was hoping for. The Bantams looks like a different team, though, than Saturday, especially in the second half. A lot crisper on the ball, a lot crisper touches, a lot better movement off the ball, and it's still a young season, but after only a couple of games going into that Otters game on Saturday, it's just amazing the night and day difference between I guess the quality of play and frankly maybe the fact that it's not so hot and the legs aren't getting as sluggish as quickly has had a little bit of a factor on that.
Tonight. We don't need the official fan of LSP,
right?
It's just not sweating bullets, setting up and everything. Remember Saturday I came here in dress shirt and dress slacks, because I wanted to make a good impression, and then Ron Tryon saw him and said, I respect you for coming that way, but shirts and shorts are just fine.
Yeah, I won't hold that against you, not a South Carolina native, and I guess you didn't understand how brutal the weather is all year around. It's not just in the summer. Summer starts early and stays late, and it's always hot and humid.
I should have figured that, but I wanted to make a good impression just in case, and just better than showing up, in like an old burlap sack, and
which is basically what I show up in.
You're fine. Oh man. So 5.5 to go. Do you think this is all told, a better played game by the Bantams than the 4-1 win on Saturday?
Yeah, I definitely think so. And the second half has really been a lot better than the first. As I mentioned, just a lot crisper on the ball, better touches, better off-ball movement, and just better looks, frankly. The Bantams not just settling for the long balls.
As this goes wide of the right post.
Willing to be a little more creative and inventive in the attack. Some of the substitutions have definitely bolstered that, and though the result won't be as favorable on Saturday, I think you can take some more positives out of this game than you could out of that Otters game, frankly.
Yeah, like, if you're going to play, I feel like if you're going to play the way you did against the Otters on Saturday that you played tonight, I don't think you're going to get a 2-2 draw. I think, I think you're not going to get any points out of it.
Yeah. And I think what we've seen, just what a big difference having Coach Lee Morris back on the bench makes for this team. Wasn't really able to make the adjustments in that game against the Otters, and the Bantams really stagnated after getting those 3 early goals.
Well,
and the difference between the first half and the second half of this game in terms of the Bantams' productivity has been night and day.
1 second, here's a chance maybe for Tormenta to take the lead. They do! It was a bad goal kick by Edwards. He slipped, delivering it. That hit it right into the lap of Marco Micheletto. He picks up a brace, and is he going to get his second straight game winner against the Bantams?
That's tough. That's tough. I mentioned in the pregame, both of the Bantams coaches that I talked to before the game were keying in on Tony Solar and Marco Micheletto. They had done a really good job for most of the game, especially in the first half, constricting the midfield, not letting those guys have the freedom and the space to work and to move and to be dynamic and explosive and do what they do well. And here it is, Marco Micheletto with a moment of brilliance, and as you mentioned, capitalizing on a mistake by the Bantams certainly, but an excellent run and a better finish. You know, frankly, Bobby Edwards probably should have gotten down a little bit faster, but it's so hard to stop a shot that's going low and far posts like that. Just a really, really nice finish from Micheletto, as you mentioned, undoing the Bantams potentially for a second time in as many tries this season.
And now Micheletto doing some jaw-jacking with Barber and one of the other Bantams players.
Barber has been known to go at it.
Well, as we enter the 88th minute, Micheletto may have just stolen another one. All 3 of his goals this season have come against the Bantams. One equalized it tonight, and the other 2, one it was definitely a game winner. This one is potentially a game winner. Bantams need to strike quick to salvage a point out of this one. Liam Ireland gives it up over to Vincent, and good pressure here from Tormenta. Now they get it back up front, but headed back towards the middle of the pitch.
Those defensive subs backfiring on you a little bit. Would like to have a few more attacking options on the pitch right now.
We were talking so long about how this has been a much crisper game played by the Bantams, and then one mistake, the Scott goal kick by Edwards falls into the lap of Micheletto, and then just a brilliant piece of individual skill there to make the run, and again, just really clinical finish.
Looks like we're going to have another patented Mitchell Myers long throw in. Haven't seen one of those since the first half, and this is a very threatening position for the Bantams.
Yep, and he's going to need to get all of this. Falls short of the box, and it's hit aside by Alvaro Alque.
It doesn't get there. You got to beat the first man on that.
And now,
well cut out by Little.
Tormenta wanted to get it into the corner and dribble the clock out. Bent. Oh, look at this. Cramping up here on the near side as he goes to play it is Wells.
It's a hamstring.
Well, this'll...
Couldn't tell if it was a cramp or he tweaked it, or if he's just a seasoned soccer veteran and knows how to waste the clock.
Well,
I'm not going to assume that he's wasting a clock, because I've done a hamstring tweak, a hamstring cramp in my day, and that is a miserable feeling. Also, one of my favorite things about soccer is that whenever anybody gets injured, all of his teammates just become medical professionals immediately. Run over to stretch him, know exactly what to do.
And you know the opposing players never believe a minute of it either.
The guy could have his arm off like Monty Python, just a flesh wound.
Yeah. Bent is debating. I heard a little French there from Liam Ireland.
This is a very international roster.
Yep. Well, I mean, not that French.
No.
Just
the euphemistic French.
Yep. This is, well, you know, we had emotions run high towards the end of the first half. Now emotions are running high towards the end of the second half, both in spaces.
We have reached the 90-minute mark of the match. Stoppage time.
I mean, two
Be managed
good
on the
teams that
field.
have played a very, very even match. Frankly, this will be an unfair result for the Bantams. They've played well enough to earn at least a point here at home.
Yeah, but
We still have an opportunity here. We've reached the 90-minute mark, but there will be a considerable amount of stoppage added on for this injury stoppage, I would imagine.
and also all the other extracurriculars we've had this half.
Right, cards, couple goals scored,
Yeah.
a lot of substitutions. Should be
Player for Tormenta is
plenty
number
of time
20,
for the
Nick
Bantams to get at
Wells.
least one or two more opportunities.
So they're going to slide Wells off the field, and Tormenta will play with 10 for the time being.
And I can tell you with Wells sitting about 15 feet in front of me, does not look like he's just time wasting.
And now, away from the play, a Tormenta player went down, and there's been a yellow. And there's a lot of pushing and shoving here.
Looks like that was Davis Bryan that picked up the yellow card. Honestly, I was not even watching. I was watching Nick Wells over here on the sideline stretching out his hamstring.
Yeah, and I was over here because, you know, the play had started back there with Edwards taking the throw, but there's just a lot of jaw-jacking, pushing and shoving. Davis Bryan picked up the card for the
Yellow
Bantams.
card issued to number 16, Davis Bryan for the Bantams.
And no subsequent discipline for anyone on Tormenta. Again, I wish I had seen that.
Yeah, the camera was looking the other way. We were looking the other way. You know, we didn't expect that to be going on. Tension's running high at the end of both halves, both in sequences where Tormenta got a clutch goal, one to level it at halftime and one to take the lead in the final stages of regulation. And now some more wrestling matches going on here along the far sideline.
Torn down by Justin Little. That's an easy call.
Foul.
Just a frustration foul, really.
I don't see. No, that's just. Did they book Little? I don't think they did.
Yeah, no booking it doesn't look like.
But what a chaotic broadcast we've had today. You know, crazy game. We had the issues with the camera, and Pearson did an amazing job on radio play-by-play for the time being. Pearson, I can't thank you enough for holding down the fort.
Absolutely, it was fun. It was fun.
Yeah. You told me you weren't good at this, man.
Never done it before, so I guess I'm still learning. But
well, you know enough about it that, you know, what do they say? All right. Maybe one last chance here for the Bantams, trying to settle it down. Gilligan, but it's hit back towards midfield. More contact. Gilligan not going to let it go out of play. Tormenta looking to reverse the field, tilt it down towards Edwards' end. We don't have an official count on stoppage time up here, but we figure it's going to be a considerable amount. Remember, Tormenta's still playing with 10 with the injured Wells on the sideline in front of us. Bantams need to level this one.
Mitchell Meyer's going to chuck this. Needs to be better than the last one.
It is. It's headed down. They're pointing to the spot.
I think that's goal kick.
No. Oh wow. They're clear. Oh man. It looked like the
Bantams were
official
appealing for
kick,
a penalty and then a corner, but
They
just going to be a
didn't
goal
get
kick for
anything.
Tormenta.
Wow. I thought I saw the referee point to the spot, but wow, that is a lot of contact. Now we have
And
another whistle, and
Jaro's going to take as much time as he possibly can here.
yeah, he might get a yellow for delay of game. He gets rid of it. And now, maybe with some speed, trying to silence it. Tormenta, but it's flicked aside towards the far sideline. Out of bounds for a Tormenta throw.
Justin Little does well there to get a touch on it. May not end up mattering. Not sure how much time's left or if the Bantams can even mount one more attack. But at least kept this thing within reach.
Remember the USA and Portugal 4 years ago in Brazil when Portugal leveled it on the last kick of the game after a considerable amount of stoppage time.
I can hear the collective groans of everyone watching this, the nausea of the memory.
Edwards is going to roll it forward and boot it deep. Headed towards Barber. Now maybe some space. Time running out on the Bantams. Bent! Wide right.
And wouldn't it be poetic for Bent
Bantams
to get the subsequent tying goal? Gave away the penalty.
And look who's coming up. Edwards is coming up from the box. He's coming up.
Gosh, and I thought Weber looked big.
Last chance. Bent. Oh! That's it!
That is as dramatic a finish as you could possibly draw up. A couple of great opportunities.
Yes, it took a good chunk out of Mikey Rowe, I think that was. It took a chunk out of Mikey Rowe, and that was the only thing that prevented the Bantams from salvaging this one in the end.
Not a great first ball in. Bent was able to collect it, get an effort off. It deflected. Bantams had one more shot to launch on. It looked like Mitchell Myers there hitting it right at the end, and the deflection was enough to end it. But wow, that's as close, that's as tightly contested a match, as you could possibly want. Bantams played very well, are hard done by, I think, to not even get a point here. They deserve more than the 0 points they're going to go home with tonight.
Marco Micheletto is our man of the match with the brace, including the game tire and game winner in the second half. He scored all 3 of his goals against the Bantams this season, and they've all been game levelers or game winners. Micheletto, well, I think they're going to have to key in on him when the Bantams go back down to Georgia Southern in July.
Yeah, I mean, that was the game plan. Contain him and also contain Solar. And honestly, with the exception of the 2 goals, and you can't obviously discount 2 goals, that's a huge contribution. Micheletto wasn't in control of the ball, wasn't creating a lot of attack. Just unfortunately for the Bantams, weren't able to keep him from finishing a couple. And, you know, one of them from the spot, obviously, the other one a brilliant piece of finishing after a Bantams real mishap there. And, I mean, this is one that you're really going to be kicking yourself at the end of the season. It feels like this will probably come back to bite you. 0 points out of a possible 6 against Tormenta, directly ahead of you in the table. Fortunately, you do have one more matchup, another opportunity to get points away from these guys, but this one hurts.
So, with that said, this has been a presentation of local sports production serving Greater Boston student-athletes and now South Carolina United since 2011. Copyright 2018, unauthorized redistribution of any portion of this broadcast without the express written permission of local sports productions is strictly prohibited. PDL Soccer on LSP has been brought to you by Little Caesars, official pizza of SC United Bantams and the home of the hot and ready pizza. LSP's next broadcast is Thursday night at 7:55 p.m. when the Lexington Blue Sox host the Andre Chiefs in Intercity League baseball action. Watch the game live at localsportsproductions.com/live and stream the game the next day at localsportsproductions.com/on-demand or on the LSP YouTube channel. And be sure to follow LSP on the web, localsportsproductions.com, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Patreon, LSP37, Snapchat, LSP Media, and again, subscribe to the LSP YouTube channel. Once again, the final score from the South Carolina United Soccer Center in Columbia, South Carolina. It is South Georgia Tormenta 3, SC United Bantams 2. For Pearson Fowler, who did a phenomenal job weathering the storm during our moment of crisis there on camera. My name is Sam Feely, reminding you freelance isn't free. Thanks for tuning in.